Hey, this is Charles Oniet with IGN, and I'm checking out Runic Games' Torchlight 2. I'm just in a town right now, but this is basically a Diablo-like action RPG. The sequel to Torchlight, Torchlight was very much about just a single town, and then you went down into multi-level dungeons. Torchlight 2 is much bigger, has different character classes, and you actually have an overworld, actually very similar to the transition between Diablo 1 and Diablo 2. So I'm just walking around a town right now. I've got vendors I can interact with to buy items. I have all this gear I can equip. I have a stash to drop things. I have a shared stash between characters. That's just general goods. There's a fishing spot down here if I wanted to get fish, which I will do right now. I know, very exciting to kick this off with fishing, and I just need to wait for this circle to do that, and then I should get a fish. I caught a webfish. Awesome. And I'm pretty sure I can use the webfish if I give that to my pet. Where's the webfish? There's the webfish. If I give this to my pet turns into a spider. So my pet right now, which you can see on this menu, Cheeps, is a cat with a backpack. And then I can offload items. So let's say I'm running around in the field and my inventory is getting full. I can do this and just drop a whole bunch of junk over into my pet's inventory, so then the pet will carry that around and it frees up space so I can pick up cooler stuff. Notably, stuff that is blue and green and colored and has better statistics associated with it. And then once my pet has all this stuff, I can actually send my pet back to town with this home button, so that after a certain time is expired, my pet will leave my side and come back, and will actually bring back items that I put on the shopping list, so I can have my pet buy mana health potions, town portal scrolls, and identify scrolls, so that I don't sort of have to do the busy work, I guess, if you want to call it that. I could just town portal back to town and do that myself, but if I just want my cat to do it, then that's fine. But I can also use my cat in combat, so I'm going to head out of town here into the field after a short loading screen, and my pet will attack normally, but if I go back to that web potion, or webfish, I'm sorry, and give it to my pet, oh my god, my pet is now a spider. And in this case, the webfish transforms your pet into a spider that shoots immobilizing webs, so I get an additional ability there. Now, I've explored some of this territory. You can see my mini-map up here, and I'm heading towards kind of a dungeon that has a side quest associated with it. I'm playing as the engineer class, and have unlocked a number of skills so far. You can see a really nice art style here, cool lighting effects. This is definitely a bigger, more polished, I think more sophisticated game than the first Torchlight. And actually more like Diablo than Diablo 3 in the way the skills work and everything, which I'll show in a second. So I'll just talk to this guy right here. Looks like there's an issue with a lost person. I have item rewards, and I will accept the quest and head into this cave. Widow's Vale. And there are spiders and blobs in here, which I've killed some of them so far. But as the engineer class, as I level up, I'm able to put skill points that I gain after leveling into these specific categories, and so I can bump up my strength for better damage, critical damage. I have focus here for magic and maximum mana, dexterity, and vitality for health. So I am going to, I have 5 points available right now. I'm going to put that into strength so I can do more damage. There we go. But yeah, so you build your characters this way, and Diablo 3, as a contrast, that stuff just auto-levels as you level. And then as you level up, you also gain skill points, and then you can build your character however you want across these 3 skill trees. I've been focusing on just learning a whole bunch of stuff so I can actually show it off for you, but you could just concentrate on specific things and just dump a whole bunch of points into specific categories, which I've sort of been doing with this large weapon expertise, because I like using, I have a two-handed great hammer right now, which basically looks like a huge wrench. So I want to swing that a little bit more quickly, because at the beginning it's really slow. So that's what this does. This gives me enhanced attack speed and an enhanced chance to stun targets. So I'm going to dump another point into there, but I also have a number of other skills here, including this new one. I haven't actually learned this yet. Will leap forward, slamming your melee weapon into the ground, and foes at the point of impact are damaged and slowed. So that sounds pretty effective, so I'm going to learn that. So I now have this onslaught skill that I can put down here, although, can I use this? Oh no, that's the next one that's required, level 15? I don't know, we'll see. Yeah, I can use it. So there's my onslaught. And yeah, you can slot any skills you've learned down here in the skill bar. You can also slot them on right mouse over here and actually switch between them. So I have this skill, this fiery hammer skill, flame hammer, that does a fire nova on the ground normally, and can actually be bumped up by charge. You see this charge meter here. Each class in the game has some kind of charge mechanic, and for the engineer, as I build charge, it actually powers up other skills that I have. So for instance, the flame hammer, these little sort of fingers of fire that are flying off will actually increase. So you'll get more of them, they'll go further, that type of thing if you have more charge, which you just get by fighting. And then I also have stuff like this ember hammer skill, which does that will actually, any enemies that are carrying shields, it will shatter those shields, and if I have charge, it'll do enhanced damage, which is kind of cool. So I'm going to do a couple of the engineer's more specialized skills, which is summoning stuff. So here we go. I have a little heal bot now, and those little pulses you see running around the heal bot, those are heals. Not surprisingly, considering he is a heal bot. And I can also summon spider mines, which takes up actually a pretty big chunk of mana. And these guys will explode eventually, so I'm just going to summon a few of them. Yeah, there you go. But they will follow you around, too, for a short time. And if they hit an enemy, they blow up and do a lot of damage. So that's kind of a cool option to have, just in case you know you're going towards kind of a big fight. You can just sort of lob them out, and they will do a lot of AoE damage. So in this game, you do get attacked by large mobs of foes pretty often. It is about clicking on a bunch of stuff and killing it as fast as possible in order to get loot, because of course you always want to build the best armor set than you possibly can. And you can see my charge bar building in the bottom of the screen there. As I gain new notches on it, I'm not using any special attacks, so it's just building. If I don't do anything, it will actually decrease, so by just standing around it won't just stay static. So you can build that up by doing standard attacks and then come through, and I'll do this flame hammer in a second here. Oh my goodness, alright, so that's kind of a boss character. So I'm going to switch over, I just use tab and I can switch off of my healing bot to my flame hammer and then do that. And then you can see the enhanced effects there as the fire continues to spread. I'm going to do another one, and this is actually going to be kind of challenging. His health doesn't seem to be going down very quickly. Now, I do have health potions. I don't have them slotted on my bar right now, but I can by hitting Z. I'll just automatically use the best health potion I have. So you can see my health refilling, you can see this cooldown, and while that cooldown's happening, I can't use another potion. So I can now, but that is why if you're used to something like Diablo 2, you can't just sit there and spam potions the whole time. You actually have to wait for that cooldown to be depleted. That's an important mechanic. And then you can see how this flame hammer will consume a charge every time I'm using it here. But if I use something like the Ember Hammer, which is this one, that actually doesn't consume a charge when used. It does consume quite a bit of mana, but I'm holding steady at 2 charges here. So I'm just gaining that enhanced damage bonus the whole time, which is kind of a nice side effect. Now, in groups with enemies that have shields, which would normally be blocking attacks, the Ember Hammer ability is super useful because it knocks all the shields out immediately, and I'm going to need another potion. My heal bot isn't doing the greatest job here. But I also have a blast cannon, which I can attack from afar, and I have 2 weapon sets assigned right now. By hitting W, I can switch between them, so now I'm over on a cannon, and I can fire off, he's not quite dead yet, but I can fire that from a distance, and then if I use this skill from afar, I can do enhanced damage, and I'm also getting some kind of charge bonus on this as well, I think. Nope, no charge bonus, sorry. But here we go, so I got a bunch of items from this guy, health potions, Winter's Mantle, and I can check out my inventory to see what I got there. This seems to be actually better than what I'm wearing, so I'm going to equip that. And there are actually a lot of cool item designs in the game. You can see this skull helmet I have, and actually I can just zoom into my character. You can see the skull helmet I have. That was from a major boss earlier on in the game. This is just switching between weapon sets. You can see they're equipped right here, so it's pretty simple to do. Okay, so I'm back outside. I have successfully completed this quest, and we'll pick up some kind of item reward here. No. Looks like this is actually... Yeah, this is a pet tag That's pretty good. I'm going to get that. That's a pretty big upgrade. So confirm reward selection, and then I'm going to go into my menu here, and my pet menu, and upgrade my pet. There we go, pretty nice. Pets do damage, so this cat can hold its own in battle. And actually, just to show off the mechanic of sending pets back to town, I'll do that now. I'll have my pet pick up a town portal scroll and throw some crappier items over in the inventory. Actually, so you can see that some items have sockets, so you can pick up stuff like this and just socket it into items for additional bonuses, which should be very familiar to most people that play these kinds of games. Alright, so I hit this home button, and it'll send my pet back to town, and in 2 minutes, my pet will return with whatever money I made from selling off the items, as well as the town portal scroll that I ordered. So I still got my robot following me around here. Another note on the charge bar, I haven't learned a ton of them, but I do have some skills that actually build charge in addition to standard attacks. So this dynamo field will blast out an electrical surge, and it will build charges depending on how many enemies it hits. So if there are more people around, I'll actually build up charge a little more quickly. Obviously, I'm getting... That's cool. You see the blood effects go all the way up the environment there. But in battles with more people, you want to use that in combination with your standard attacks to get charge a little bit more quickly. Looks like I've got a quest giver here.
Traveler. Can you assist me? I was planning to enter the...
I'll just go through this.
You have a new quest.
And head into this dungeon. Okay, so you'll notice I'm outside here. I've actually activated a waypoint, and this is just a way to quickly zap between different locations in the game world. But yeah, this is one of the larger outdoor areas, and I'm going to use this onslaught ability. Oh god, what is that guy doing? Just sort of slam into the ground and do damage. Like so. Which again is good for big groups. A lot of big group encounters, as enemies do not often attack in ones, and it looks like a lot of these guys are actually slowing me down with some kind of cold effect. Oh, my pet came back, and I actually lost 320 gold because I gave it crappy items, and nothing was able to really make up for the fact that it cost 600 gold to buy that scroll of town portal. So, not the wisest transaction in the world there. I also have this cool jumping ability, Seismic Slam, that basically sets the ground on fire. So you see that guy sort of died there. It's because it just does damage over time to anything that is standing on it. So it's a good way to, if you're surrounded by enemies and they're all sort of... Here, I'll just round up a whole bunch of guys. Oh my god. What is that guy doing over there? Stop attacking my cat. I need a potion. Actually, I need a heal blot. That was not the correct move. There we go. So if I'm surrounded by a whole bunch of guys, I can do this, and then do something like a flame hammer, and I get a nice, and it's not a combo effect, but it's a good sequence to use your skills in to ensure that you're doing as much damage as you possibly can at all times. Uh-oh, assassins. Looks like I've got a guy to free here, so you get these little story elements that happen out in the main part of the world. Like this guy, who I've just sort of killed his assassins, and then he's gonna give me something good? Nope. All that stuff sucks. Thanks, bro. Alright, well, that does add a nice sense of variety, though. And I like the fact that some of the enemies have kind of more varied entrances into the field, so it's not like they're all just standing around. You'll see spiders descend from ceilings and stuff like that. It's kind of cool. So I'm going to take these guys out with my flame stomp. Not a lot of enemies can survive that. So there's no... release date on this yet. Oh, here's another guy. I think Runic has said that maybe this summer. Unfortunately, Torchlight 2 is not going to be out before Diablo 3 launches, which is probably not good for the game. But I mean, the game is really good. From what I've played so far, it's definitely better than the first Torchlight. And I haven't played with all the classes yet, but the engineer so far is pretty fun. I like the charge bar mechanic. And yeah, I mean, with the addition of actual co-op in Torchlight 2, which was not in the original, you can actually play with others, play alongside others in this game, which is going to be a big bonus, I think, for Torchlight 2's longevity. You know, this is going to be a really good action RPG, and something that, even if you've been looking forward to Diablo forever, you should not let this slip off your radar. I know there's definitely a fan base for this already, but certainly does not have the exposure that something like Diablo does. So do not forget about Torchlight whenever it does wind up coming out. Could be a lot of fun, and for a lot more on Torchlight 2, you can check out IGN.com.